guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are discussing Seeking Sister Wife Season 3 Episode 8 entitled Full House. So I want to address two things. One, I feel like the Snowden drama is starting to die down. As I said before in my other recap, as far as I know, they have not really commented on anything. TLC has not really commented on anything. But one gentleman on YouTube did do an interview with, I believe, a former sister wife of the Snowdens. I am going to link his channel down below, as well as the other two channels that I mentioned before. Sorry, people are walking. Yes, as well as the other two channels that I talked about before. I will link all three of them down in the description. Also, once again, people are walking. Also, I wanted to say sorry that this video is coming out late, but I just had one of those weeks where I did not want to do anything. I didn't want to watch television. I was occasionally on YouTube. I just wanted to like lay around and do nothing, and that's what I did. Yeah, I pretty much was just, I was watching TV. I was watching old shows. I was watching In the Heat of the Night. I mean, that takes it back. I was watching Jag, which also, that's a throwback. Now that I mention it, I really want to watch Designing Women, but I think I can only find it on YouTube, so I might have to binge Designing Women pretty soon. Oh, and the ID channel. I have been watching the ID channel, but just a little tidbit about that. If Discovery, can y'all, as I was saying, can we stop with the Discovery Plus commercials? I mean, it's like anytime you're watching like the ID, TLC, what else? Cooking channel. I don't think it's called a cooking channel. Something about cooking. Anytime you're watching any of these channels, it's like every other commercial is Discovery Plus, and it's annoying. Okay, I just want to enjoy watching my shows without a commercial for Discovery Plus every 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But that's besides the point. So, Seeking Sister Wife, Season 3, Episode 8. I have recapped other episodes. They'll be in the eye down below, and on my channel in general. I created a TLC show playlist, which is also on my channel. Also, my collar is really bothering me. It reminds me of that commercial where it's the guy and the girl on a date, and she's like, "You look amazingly comfortable." It's my pajama shirt, okay? So it's, it's out of whack. But it is what it is. I need to get this donezo. Okay, so first up we have the Joneses. So as Sidian put it, they have been dumped, rejected, anything bad related to dating, it has pretty much happened to them. So yeah, they are going to give online dating a try, and lo and behold, they meet Alexandra. She is 30, no kids, and she is, I wrote an adventure toy guide. I don't know what I was thinking. An adventure tour guide, which sounds like a really fun job. And Sidian said that they connect because they talk about physics and psychology, and yeah, Sidian really likes Alexandra. Or Alexandra. I think he pronounces it like Alexandra. And event where we see them is that him and Tasha sit down and have a little, I guess a little date, a little greeting with Alexandra, and they are feeling it, but only to a certain degree. Um, Especially Tasha. Tasha's a little hesitant because um like it doesn't seem like Alexandra is ready to settle down or have kids. It seems like she's always on the road. I mean, if you're an adventure tour guide, it's like you're not necessarily going to be in one place. You know, you're not working a 9 to 5 as a tour guide. So they're a little bit hesitant about how she's going to flow into their family dynamic because, as she puts it, it's not just Alexandra and Sidian that will be, you know, coming together. It's the kids, Tasha, everyone has to kind of mesh. But yeah, I like how when Sidian was about to ask Alexandra on a date, he like took a second, he muted it, and then he asked Tasha if that was okay. He's very considerate of her feelings, and I mean, it seems to be working for them. So yeah, he ends up asking Alexandra on a date, and she says yes. And then we see Sidian getting ready for said date, and I literally wrote down what I just said. Like I said, at the first greeting with all three, it kind of seemed like it was Tasha that kind of pointed out the concerns, and then when Sidian was actually ready to go on a date, he also pointed out that he's gonna have to address these concerns as well because they are important concerns. You know, it's not necessarily bad about her job, it's just that like kids absorb so much. So if you're constantly going to be gone, you know, that's going to affect them. Here you say, hey, this person's going to be, you know, a sister wife and like a second mom or third mom, I guess, since Tasha's kind of like a second mom, excuse me, and then she's like never there, you know. So they're definitely worried about her travel schedule and how she would fit into a family dynamic. And next episode, we are going to see Sidian and Tasha go for a date. Y'all, Sidian got all dressed up. He had like a nice press shirt. I was about to say a sweater vest. It definitely was a sweater vest. It was a vest, you know. Yeah. He wasn't wearing his glasses. He had contacts on. So Sidian was like ready for this date. Okay. He was putting his best foot forward for this date. Adorable. That's it with the couple. Family number 2, the Snowdens. I already did my Snowdens PSA. Wow, there was a lot. Okay, the Snowdens. So basically the day after Chrissy came, production shut down. So I think if you've seen any TLC show and they talked about COVID in the middle of it, production shut down and they put a little, you know, thing about it. So after the restrictions were kind of eased, production got back in, and we're looking at them 3 months later. So at the beginning, they said that everything was fun and cozy. You know, everything was flowing, everything was happy. The whole family, of 9 was doing well. They even mentioned that Chrissy and Taylor did the diet, so now Dimitri can get intimate with everyone. But they did mention that Dimitri lost his job, and so he had to start doing odds and ends. I think they said that he's an IT manager. I think I've seen different comments on various YouTube, and I think they said he's like an IT manager. So sorry about that. So because he lost his job, he started doing, like I said, odds and ends, like different odd jobs and stuff. And he said one of the things that he did was him and Taylor started meal delivery. So him and Taylor would be out delivering meals, and then Chrissy and Ashley would be home taking care of the kids. Like I said, in the beginning, it was all fun and games, and then a divide happened. So basically, the divide was between Taylor and Ashley, and they said that they would clash almost daily. Yeah. And one of the things that Ashley kind of mentioned was the fact that they were wary from the beginning about Taylor coming from 0 kids to now 3 kids to now 5 kids. They're worried about that. Like, she was single, she didn't have that responsibility, and then she was going to take it on. So what they noticed was that Taylor would kind of retreat to her room a lot, not really interact, and of course, you know, that's going to cause an issue. And then after they talked about that, another little like wording popped up, or I can't even think of the word, update. Another update popped up on the screen, and it said that Taylor left to go visit family in Texas, and she had not returned. So yeah. So then, after we saw that happen, they brought us again, and all of a sudden it was 6 weeks later, because when we saw them next, Dimitri said that 6 weeks ago Taylor went to go visit her family. Like I said, Ashley said there was just tension, there was a breakdown in communication, and that's what happened. And Dimitri kind of said that Taylor just up one day and said, hey, I'm going to go visit my mom. And then he kind of tried to communicate to her or say to her, like, is that really why you're going, or is it because of the tension? And she was like, no, I'm really going to go visit my mom. Dimitri was wondering, you know, do you need space? Is that what's going on? And so Chrissy chimed in and said that since Taylor left, stuff has been flowing more easily, but she does miss Taylor. And then Dimitri kind of pointed out that both Ashley and Chrissy had not talked to Taylor, and I found that interesting, because if Chrissy was so close with her, why hadn't she reached out to Taylor to kind of see what's going on, see if she's coming back? I found that part very interesting. So eventually Dimitri got on the phone with Taylor, and Taylor basically said she's enjoying her peace, her henna business is thriving, and she's happy. And she said she wasn't sure when she was going to return, and I guess they kind of took that as she's never going to return. So her and Dimitri ended up breaking up, and he was like, I'll pack your stuff and send it to you. And she's like, okay, cool, just give me the stuff that's in my closet and send it to me. And that was it. So Taylor is no longer a member of the polygamous family. And when Dimitri sat down with Ashley and Chrissy, because the one thing that he mentioned was he didn't go and get Chrissy and Ashley to kind of see what they wanted to do in the situation as well. He kind of ended it for himself. So when he was explaining what happened, they didn't seem concerned that he didn't come to them and tell them what was going on. He basically relayed that Taylor wants to focus on her business. Ashley said that Taylor wanted to live a different way. Chrissy said, once again, I found this interesting that she said it, but I guess she was just saying what was on her mind. Chrissy said that Taylor required a lot of attention, and she wanted that attention to come from Dimitri, which meant that Chrissy and Ashley never got to spend time with Dimitri. So it seems like, according to Chrissy, that Taylor really wanted to treat the relationship like it was just her and Dimitri. She wasn't considering the fact that it's a whole unit here. It's not just her and Dimitri dating. It's Dimitri's also dating Chrissy, Ashley. He has to take care of the kids. She's supposed to help with the kids and stuff like that. There was a whole dynamic, and it just seemed like she wanted Dimitri just to herself, which, you know, her mom kind of hinted at that. I don't know if it was last episode, but episode before last, when her mom said it's not fair that he gets to have all of these people and you get just him. And I guess Taylor really just wanted him. And Ashley kind of pointed out that she knew that something was off. You know, they were, like I said, they were hesitant about since the beginning, because she was coming from, being a single person, just having to think about her own well-being, to now having to, you know, include everyone else. And I was kind of wondering about this because before Chrissy came, they had said that, even Taylor said that everything was flowing and everything was great. So I'm wondering what changed. What really changed? Because if everything was flowing before Chrissy and her kids came, was it just that another person was added? 2 more kids were added? Was it really flowing and that was just, you know, a front? I'm really curious about that. So yeah, it's just Chrissy, Ashley, the 5 kids, and Dimitri now. Taylor is no longer with the Snowdens. And I'm kind of wondering, are they going to are we gonna see like Chrissy and Dimitri get married or anything like that? Because I'm really wondering, with everything that's happening with the drama, how long does her visa allow her to be here? I'm kind of really curious about that whole aspect. So I think it'll be interesting to see what else is presented about the Snowdens the rest of the season. And that's it. That's the Snowdens. Yes, that's the Snowdens. So next up we have the Winders. Yes. So Kimberly's coming. Kimberly is coming. She is from North Carolina. They have been talking for about a year, which I don't know if they probably mentioned it. I probably just went over my head. But they've been talking for a year. And when Kimberly comes out, she's actually staying at a hotel because Sophie, I think it was Sophie that said that it's not really time for her to stay at the house. Like, this is the first time she's coming out, so for them to say, oh, it's the first time you're coming out, you know, stay at our place, whatever, they just don't feel like that's the right dynamic to put forth. And as they pointed out, Tammy and Sophie are definitely more excited about Kimberly coming than Colton. Colton is, yeah, he's I don't want to say he's not thrilled, but he's kind of, I feel like his mind is elsewhere. Like, there's a million and one things going on in the house, and for them to add another sister wife to the mix, just, it seems like a lot for him. So yeah, Tammy and Sophie are definitely the ones pushing the whole Kimberly possibly being a third wife type of situation. So because it is the beginning stages, Colton and Kimberly cannot be left alone. They cannot hold hands. They cannot kiss. It is only a group hangout type of situation. And Colton made sure to address this. He was like, hey, just one thing that I have, don't leave me alone with Kimberly. And they're like, yeah, we got you. And they said that they briefed her on this as well before she got here. Which once again, I find it a little bit weird, but I guess that's just the way the cookie crumbles. You know, they're kind of the ones, I don't want to say in charge of the situation, but they're the ones in charge of the situation. So they're kind of the ones relaying everything to Kimberly because Colton is Coltoning, I guess. So we finally meet Kimberly, and one thing that she said is that she said she loves the sistership. I don't know if they've addressed this, but I don't know if she's like the same religion as them. Like she just mentioned, oh, I have 3 sisters, so I kind of want that to continue. So I don't know if she's necessarily in the same religion, but it seems like she just loves the idea of having sister wives. So I guess, you know. So when she first comes and sits down in the living room, it is so awkward. Well, first of all, when she came to the door to say hi, she gave Sophie a hug, she gave Tammy a hug. I was curious if her and Colton could even hug, but they did, you know, the side hug situation. So I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, it was just really awkward. And my whole thing was, you were talking for a year, but it's that awkward. But then you have to think, like, you've been video chatting or talking on the phone, and then you see the person in person. You see that person in person, it's gonna be awkward. I mean, it's been a long distance thing for like a year. Also, I'm kind of curious, I wonder if she was allowed to date other people during that year. I mean, it's just the talking stage. They're not together, but still, I'm kind of curious. Anyway, random. Okay, so what does Colton think of Kimberly, you ask? He said Kimberly is really sweet and nice and friendly, that it's like easy to talk to her. And then the producers went and set my man Colton up. Okay, they asked him if he was attracted to Kimberly, and he said he's not there yet. He said attraction is more than skin deep. However, he did say that Kimberly was beautiful. So Colton might be, I don't know, because he doesn't like necessarily show emotion. I don't know. It probably takes him longer to like warm up to someone or be attracted to someone than the average person. Like, he shows no emotion. So I don't know. That's very interesting. Like, he said that she was beautiful, but he said he wasn't attracted to her, and that attraction is more than skin deep. So obviously he has to get to know someone's personality in order for him to be attracted to them. And that's okay. He's honest about it. And Kimberly said that Colton is sweet and nice. So, you know, I guess that means that they're vibing. I don't know. That's just definitely interesting, to say the least. So yeah, next week we're going to see I guess more of what they did during the weekend, because like they said, she's only there for 2 weeks. Not 2 weeks, 2 days. She's there for 2 days. So half of the day she's like spending with the sister wives, Tammy and Sophie, and the other half it's like all 3 of them, or I guess it'll be 4 of them. So we're gonna kind of see what happens. But yeah, that's the Winders. Last but not least, we have the Clarks. So as I mentioned last episode, Kayla and Gerard and Vanessa, they broke up. Kayla kind of wanted to do her own thing, and so they have been broken up for several weeks. And then here comes Gerard's friend Emily. Emily. First of all, No offense. I'm wondering how old Emily is. I'm just curious about that. But yeah. Like, I'm not, yeah, I'm just curious how old she is. That's it. So Emily is a friend of Gerard. He said they met through mutual friends and then they're in a car club together. And I found that very interesting because he said that she comes over, or let me back up. He said that she comes to him for advice, and if anything's wrong with her car, she comes to him. And then when he lifts the hood, she's like, "Oh, is that where the XYZ is?" And he's like, "No, that's not." How you? I'm just curious. How are you in a car club but you don't know the basics of a car? I was just a little bit curious about that part. She might have been joking, but that's like me joining a chess club and not knowing how to play chess. I mean, I guess you could do it and start from the beginning, but a car club? Anyway. So, here's my issue with this. First of all, I feel like this is like a setup. You know what I'm saying? It's just, we need content. That's what it felt like. But besides that, it's the fact that he thinks that because she's asking questions about his lifestyle, that means that she's interested. And I don't see how the two relate. I could be asking questions about Einstein. That doesn't mean that I'm interested in math. You know, I'm just, like, curiosity is sometimes just curiosity. It doesn't mean that I want to go further. Once you explain it, that doesn't mean that I'm interested in it. Like, he kept saying, "Oh, she's asking questions, therefore she must be interested." No, that's not always the case. I don't know. I felt like he was leading her with the questions. Like, if she was on a witness stand, it would be like, "Objection, leading the witness." You know what I'm saying? Like, it just made no sense. But anyway, push comes to shove. She said something along the lines of, "Oh, if I'm curious or I want to know more about what's going on, how do we do that? How do we explore that together?" And so she is going out with Vanessa and Gerard on a date. Yeah. Good luck with that. It just, I found it interesting because in 1 minute he's like, "Oh, we're heartbroken over Kayla and we're trying to figure it out and we're trying to heal," and then you find out it's been several weeks, and as far as I know, several is 5 to 7 weeks, and then next minute he's like, "Oh, Emily and I are going out." I still got it. Oh, okay, congratulations, you still got it. But yeah, next week we see them go out on a date with Emily, and I think she said something shocking. So I'm wondering, does she like know Kayla? Is that what happens? Who knows? Also next week though, we see Danielle and Garrick talking about the whole first day intimacy, bait and switch with, not bait and switch, it's the wrong term, but what I'm saying, well, first day, first night, shenanigans that happened with Garrick and Roberta, I guess it's coming back because we see them talking about it. So I guess we're going to see that Danielle is not over it and she's not okay with it. And I guess they're going to address it. It's going to be interesting to know how Garrick wiggles his way out of this one, because if she's still talking about it when y'all get back to Colorado, obviously it touched a nerve. And it would, like, you got intimate and then I slept in the bed. That's nasty. But that's beside the point. Okay. That is the end of episode 8, Full House. What do you think? What do you think? Yeah, what do you think? I mean, at this point, it's interesting. Definitely an interesting show. I'm also curious how many episodes there are this season. Like I said, Smothered is coming on. I think they say May 27th, but that, I don't know why I'm thinking May 27th. Also, 27th is a Thursday, I think. So that doesn't really make sense. Anyway, I'm curious about this season in general, how long it's going to be. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the episode, on the Snowdens, on the Merrifields, on the Winders, on the Clarks, on the Joneses. Let me know your thoughts down below. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Bye.